Hey, it's Paul, that bourbon guy. Down here in my whiskey warehouse, let's find a bottle. Let's go with this Knob Creek 21 years. Hey everyone, back here in my whiskey warehouse. Wanted to give you the rundown of something I just picked up last weekend. Did a drive down for a special premier tasting event at Jim Beam. And this for their official launch of the Knob Creek 21 year. Comes in this limited edition bottle or edition case, wood casing, which is similar to this one, which I'll explain in a little bit. There is a clasp in the back to keep everything in place, along with a little wood topper. And that is the bottle. That is the 21 year. Oldest age coming out of Jim Beam, or at least the oldest age for Knob Creek. This little lasso and everything else is glued to the bottle, although I can wiggle it a little bit. So I'm sure if you put enough pressure onto it, you could probably pry this loose. It is loose around the neck as well. So we got that as well. So I did a fresh crack on that. And I happen to have that bottle here for a little tasting. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to basically go through and basically give you a recreation of the tasting experience that I went through at Jim Beam. So originally the tasting experience was supposed to be done by Freddie No. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency. Understand that, family first. Fortunately, his dad stepped in, so Fred No was there for us. Gave some great background stories of things that his dad, Booker No, did. His own views of the world, as it were. And give us a rundown of the various expressions at Knob Creek. So I happen to have in front of me other expressions. I'm going to put the box out of the way. So we know we have the 21 year, which I happen to have in this glass over here. I also happen to have batch 1 of the 18 year, of which I've done another pour next to it, which was also batch 8, or wasn't batch 18, I think it was batch 3, but they did have an 18 year that was a part of the tasting experience. The other one that they had a total of 3, was a basic Knob Creek 9 year. I don't happen to have a basic 9 year. So instead I'm going to mix this up a little bit. So I am actually going to add a Knob Creek 12 year coming in at 100 proof as well. So all 3 of these are coming in at 100 proof. And then for the added bonus, just to mess everything up and have a lot of fun, I happen to have a Knob Creek Cask strength. Oop, little piece of plastic or rubber or wax came off here. This is the Cask strength coming in courtesy of State Liquors. It was a pick that they made, coming in at 126 proof. So let me see, if I was to put this in the order of the pours, it would look something like this. So that's the lineup that I have for the glasses. And so basically we can get into the tasting experience. I'm just gonna move these off to the side so you get a better view of the glasses itself, and I can give you my experience of nosing as well as what the tasting is like and the variations, mostly based on understanding where extra age in the barrels plays a role in the drink itself. Now they also had a couple snacks to go with it. I don't have the snacks, I'm just gonna go straight for the drink itself. So I'm gonna save the 21 year really last in the lineup of just these 3. So I'm just gonna go from 12 to 18 to 21, since they're all the same proof point. And then afterwards, I'll throw in the Cask strength just to see how that plays in lower age, but at a higher proof point. All right, so first we're gonna start off with the 12 year. And it has that nice sweet oak nose. A little caramel forward, Maybe a little toffee thrown into this whole mix. Very nice. Not off-putting at all. But it's mostly the oakiness that comes out of the 12. And a lot of people will say that 12, it seems to be a very heavy oak in terms of the Knob Creeks. That's it. I'm just going to go nose for right now. So moving from nose of a 12 year to 18 year. So now we're going to jump 6 years on this. Now they used to also have a 15 year. I haven't seen it in years. They haven't made it in years. I did ask Fred No the question, will there be a 15 year? And he said it's not off the table. It's ultimately Freddie's call on whether or not there's going to be a 15 year, but he didn't say no. So for those of you who used to be fans of the 15 year, keep your fingers crossed, write in. It could show up in the future. I don't know if it's near future, but at least they're saying it's not something that they will not have again in the future. So it's something that could potentially still be here. I've had one pour of it, which was about a year or two ago, and it was pretty tasty. So now we're jumping 6 years. That oakiness, that sweet oak, is not here on the 18. It's interesting. So now there's fruit forward. Fruits are starting to emerge out of the nose. That's something I didn't get. So this is very much sweet oak, the caramels and the toffee. Now I'm getting kind of a light fruit, almost a maybe a strawberry note out of this whole thing, or at least some type of a berry note. It's still sweet, but it's a different kind of sweet. It's a berry sweet. Yeah, it seems to be the main piece of the nose that I'm getting out of an 18. Okay. So that's interesting on the jump from a 12 to an 18. Now let's go from an 18 for 3 more years into a 21 and see what the difference is there. All right, so now in 21, there's still a little hint of berryness to it, but it's a little more subdued. That sweet oak is coming back in the 21. It's not as dominant as it is on the 12. So I'm getting that sweet oak. I'm getting a little more of that caramel. But again, there's that hint of berry, like a strawberry or a raspberry showing up in the nose. I'd say out of, in terms of sweetness, this is probably the most subdued in terms of sweetness. These two are totally different in terms of sweetness. So if you like more of the caramels, those type of things, that's the nose. Yeah, big time out of that is that one. This one, the berry sweetness. Slight hint of caramel now showing up on that nose as well. And the caramel and the sweet oak is starting to show up more. But again, heavy dominance on the sweet oak is on the 12 year. Okay, so if I had to pick and choose between the noses right now, man, it depends on the mood that I'm going to be in. So if I'm in it for like a candy confectionery, things like the chocolates, your caramels and everything else, the 12 year is going to be the way to go on that one. If I want something that's a little more, has some element of fruit to the whole thing, some element, actually I'd go back up to the 21, because it's just basically a subdued version of the 18 year, because it's bringing back more of the oak. The oak isn't here on the 18. Granted, this is batch 1. It's very berry forward. So they're all good. I don't find anything displeasing with any of the noses. So with that said, let's get into the taste. First, the 12 year. Yep, nice. That caramel showing up very much at the tip of the tongue and strong towards the back of the palate before it finishes down the throat. Maybe a little bit of cherries is bursting forward in the finish, and I'm feeling that warm feeling as it goes down the throat for that traditional Kentucky hug. It's good. It's good. It's not burnt. It's not a burning sensation. You're not at 100 proof. I don't expect any of these to really come out and bite you. But it's all good. It's all good. So let's have one more sip on this. Yeah, this is definitely oak forward. Now I'm getting a little bit of, maybe a little bit of astringency on the very tail of the finish, which would tie into the charring or the wood itself is showing up. Otherwise, it's the caramel. The toffee note that I was picking up on the nose, I'm really not picking up so strong in the taste. Cherry notes are showing up about back of mid palate into the finish itself, and again a warm hug all the way down. So that's the 12 year. Now let's jump up to the 18 year. Cheers. Wow, that's nice. So the oakiness that's in the 12, again, just like I said in the nose, in the taste, there's a little bit of oakiness in the taste. Caramel is there. That nuttiness is present really in both of them, because I kind of expect that out of a Knob Creek or a Beam product. But that fruit forward into the whole thing. So again, it's kind of like a strawberry or a raspberry or something like that. Pair it up with that Jim Beam nuttiness and everything else. That's a PB&J drink. So I've always thought about that when I first experienced the 18 year, right over there. Still do today. So that is really good. I enjoy it a lot. It is really good. I've been savoring on that one. I'm about halfway through on that. I will do another video later on. I do happen to have the other two batches that have come out. So I'll do a comparison between the three, see if there's any variations, like some think there are. I'm not sure if there really is, but we'll find out later. So one more sip. Yeah, it is essentially peanut butter and jelly. Actually, I wouldn't say jelly, I'd call it a jam. Strawberry jam. So it's like you feel you still have that little chunks of the strawberry mixed in with it and everything else. That's what I'm getting off of this. So the nuttiness, the berries, really maybe not so much on the cherry notes, but that's pretty much what I'm getting out of the 18 year. All right, now we move on to 21. Oh, so it is also bringing forward the fruit notes. Whereas I said it was kind of subdued in the nose compared to the 18. I'd say it's almost equal there in taste between the 18 to the 21. There's a little heavier bitterness in the finish, which I attribute to the extra age. Otherwise, the nuttiness is still there. Man, it's pretty close between the 18 and the 21. Really, really close. Yeah, the nose is because of the extra age and the extra wood, so the heavy fruit notes are there in the nose on the 18. Not so much on the 21. But in terms of drinking, man, they're close to one another. That's the 18. Okay, with that little quick comparison right there, I am getting more oak, mid palate to the finish on the 21 than I am with the 18, but both start with the same fruit experience of the berries on the front of the palate and the front of the mouth. Yeah, definitely more tannin. Nothing as heavy tannin as it is with the 12-year, but it's showing up more on the 21 just because of that extra 3 years. But again, it's not off-putting. All of these are fabulous drinks. I've had a lot of the 12 years myself. I've also had some regular 9 years. So that's like, if you're ever at a bar and you're stuck and they have like bottom shelf, or they don't have any mid-tier or top-tier bottles to try. They got the basics, they got the Beam, they got the Knob Creek 9. I'll probably pick up a Knob Creek 9 and have a pour of that and be very happy with what it is. All right, so with that said, that is between 12, 18, and 21, all at 100 proof. Now let's throw the wild card into the mix, and let's bring up this Cask strength, the 9-year, 126 proof. All right, so with that one, it's much younger than the others. So that oak presence isn't there at all. It's basically peanut butter forward. Kind of I wouldn't call it a creamy peanut butter. I call it more, think of it like a crunchy peanut butter. So it's got a little peanut bits in it as well. Peanuts and a little bit of cherry into the nose as well. All right, so let's try this one. Oh, you definitely taste the proof on this one. So it's sweet going in the beginning of the palate, on the beginning of the tongue. Very nutty, very, very nutty. Almost extreme nuttiness to the whole thing. But once I got to that mid palate, that proof jumped out. So I was getting a little bit of a burn maybe towards the back of the palate before it went down to the throat. Otherwise, this is, to me, quintessential Knob Creek, quintessential Jim Beam, of just that peanut forward taste on the whole thing. So there's some peanuts on the whole thing. I'll say there's a hint of cherries, probably mid palate to the whole and everything else. It's interesting because when it got that mid palate, like I said, the proof really exploded. Let me try another sip of this thing. Yeah, it's fine on the front of the mouth, front of the tongue, and everything else. Once I got to that mid palate, it really exploded. But again, it's exploding big time with nuttiness. Some caramel is showing up. So that's the progression from the 9 to a 12. A little bit of cherry notes are showing up. That's about it. I'm probably not going to be the one who's going to give you those nuanced little tasting notes that others do. I'm just going for the basic expressions. And you know, if that's good for you, that's good for me too. It's what you want. Or as it's upside down, but I got the quote from Jim Beam on this mat. Drink it any way you please. Yeah, it's all good. So you can see the progression, all the same mash bill, just different ages. Obviously that's a higher proof point, but it's still, it carries through, and it's interesting on the aging. So with a 9, it's peanut forward, berry, a little bit of cherries to the whole thing, some caramels to the whole thing, but that's about it. Once you progress from a 9 to a 12, so you add 3 more years into the aging process, now all of a sudden that oak really jumps forward on this. And so it's that sweet oak that is mixed in with the nuttiness up front. The berries are there, the caramel's there, you're getting toffee in the nose. Towards the back end, the tannins of the age and the wood and everything else is there as well. So it's going to cut down on the intensity of the peanut notes that you got out of a 9-year going into a 12-year. Then jumping from a 12 to an 18, that tannin note, for whatever reason, after 6 years, really just jumped down and lowered in intensity, and it brought forward this really nice fruit note, both in the nose and in the taste, a type of a strawberry or a strawberry jam to the whole thing. Really like that. That is fabulous. Move 3 more years, that strawberry note is still there, but now some of that oak tannins starts to re-emerge 3 years later. Not as heavy as it was with the 12, but at least there's some presence of tannins in the 21 year itself. So those are all great expressions. That's basically trying to give you what I went through last weekend when I did the drive over to Jim Beam, to have this premier tasting of the Knob Creek 21. It is really good. If you're a Knob Creek fan, or if you're a Jim Beam fan, you're going to want to try and find one of those things, get yourself one. I wouldn't go anything over MSRP on it. I think it's fine as it is. Hopefully they will do more of those in other batches in future releases. And typically those future batches tend to lower down in price because they're not going to have the fancy wood crate around it like the first releases have been for the 18 and the 21. So you may get better value out of that. So that's it. That's my lineup for the Knob Creek 9 to 21. Let me know what you think. Have you had a chance to have all of these expressions? Have you had some of the other expressions of Knob Creek? Let me know in the comments below. Want to thank each and every one of you. We have now achieved 200 subscribers on the channel. Appreciate each and every one of you. Feel free to comment and subscribe and like what you're seeing. Let me know if there are other brands that you'd be interested in having me giving you, not necessarily so much of a review, but to at least give you a story. So this was more around the story of how I went down to Jim Beam to have this exclusive tasting with Fred No. All right, so until next time, if anyone asks, tell them you heard it from that bourbon guy.